start our Municipal Council agenda for Tuesday, March the 5th, 2019. Welcome everybody here this afternoon and call this meeting to order. Is there any declaration of interest at this time? Seeing none, we'll move to presentations. And we have listed the signing of our inclusion charter for East Gwillimbury, and we've decided to move it to another event so we can not only do a signing, but we will adopt it here today and then do a signing at a public time much later. Is that correct, Ms. Collette? Thank you. Thank you. So could I have a motion to no, we'll do that when we adopt our minutes. It's part of our minutes, so we'll leave it until the end. With that, I will go to deputations. Mr. Clerk, if you could introduce our deputant.
Thank you. Through you, Madam Mayor, your first deputant is E. Rogers from the Southlake Regional Health Center Foundation, making a deputation in council regarding the 2019 Run or Walk for Southlake.
Wow.
Mess up my hair.
Good afternoon. Welcome. And what an amazing welcome. Thank you. It's always a privilege to be here. And oh goodness, it's hard to believe with the weather out there that we are a mere 8 weeks away from the 2019 Run or Walk for Southlake. It is one of the, we believe, one of the greatest ways that we see our community rally together in support of Southlake Regional Health Center. And you can see from our marketing materials that we are ready. We're ready to run. It's been a busy and interesting year with a year of planning. With change in government and change in leadership at Southlake Regional Health Center, with the appointment of Arden Crystal as CEO and Susan Mullen as CEO of the foundation. It was a year of planning. The hospital underwent a new strategic planning process that will take us into the next 10 years. And this strategic plan was developed with an unprecedented level of community engagement. We had over 3,000 people contribute to the plan, and a number of people attended in-person sessions throughout the region to provide their feedback into the strategic plan and where they believe their needs can be met through the strategic planning process. Not surprising, many of the factors that influenced the development of the strategic plan were the fact that our communities are growing, that our healthcare system is changing, and that this is creating an increasing demand on the healthcare system and on hospitals in particular. We know that we are seeing, 113, 366 emergency department visits in an emergency department that was really built for the capacity of 70,000 people. We know that that means a new patient's arriving every 4 to 5 minutes. We have 68 new patients that need to be admitted into in-bed hospital care a day. And in a 426-bed hospital, it's easy to do the math that's going to lead to major capacity issues in a very short amount of time. Which all leads us back to really the importance of this event. It is our community's opportunity to have an impact on healthcare. The Run for Southlake has grown into our biggest annual fundraiser. Last year, we sold out the event for the first time ever, which was fantastic. This year, we're anticipating 1,800 participants will join us, and we know that the community support of that event extends far beyond those that actually participate, but also to those that support the participants, that come out and cheer them on, and that pledge to our participants. We've raised over $1.5 million to this event. And the funds raised through this event support the most urgent needs of the hospital. we rely on our communities to fund 100% of most of the new equipment and all of the replacement equipment. And again, with the volume that we're seeing, that equipment, including the beds, they wear out rather quickly. I think we have to replace every bed in the hospital about every 2 to 3 years. So that brings us to the Mayor's Challenge, which you're very familiar with. It is the friendly fundraising competition that we issue to the municipalities in our catchment to see who can raise the most amount of money in support for our hospital. The trophy is currently living in East Gwillimbury, and we're so proud of the support and the leadership that this council and this community has shown in participating in this event. I was up at Georgina, and I'm to relay a message from Councillor Waddington that he says that tell East Gwillimbury we're in and we're started and they're ahead right now. So on our final note, I would just like to say we're ready to run. Are you? And will you accept the challenge?
Thank you very much. You're well aware we will be accepting the challenge. And once again, Councillor Roy DiClemente has agreed to be our leader of our team. She's done a terrific job the last, how many years?
It's been 8 years, Mayor Haxon.
8 years. So no point in changing leadership now. We're ready, and I know you'll be heading south to let them know as well that we have hats and we're good to go. I can also say that it's not just members of council. It's members of our staff team that come out and support the hospital as well, and many of our community members. We put it on our website, and community members who have been touched by the hospital or the hospital has touched them by family or friends have taken up the challenge with us now. And so it's greater than just the people sitting across the table here. It's motivating other people to come in, and Tara does a terrific job at doing that. So we're up for it. And we'll just leave the trophy right here because we know it has a good home and it's been well looked after. Go ahead.
Thank you, Mayor Haxon. Of that $1.5 million, I'm very proud to say that Team EG has raised $49,296 of that. And as you said, Mayor Haxon, it's not just members of council, but it's members of the staff team from all departments, and we call them the awesome residents. There are residents that join us as well. And it's not just about running 5K, it's also a walk. And so it's a very accessible and family-friendly event. And I would like to advise that Team EG is already registered, and so if anyone is ready to put their name forward, you can simply join Team EG. And if you can't join us, then please consider supporting us. Thank you.
With that, I would have Councillor Roy DiClemente move the resolution, seconded by Councillor Crone. All those in favor? And that's carried. Thanks so much for being here. We're looking really forward to it.
Thank you.
Nice day weather, I'm sure. Thank you.
No rain.
We are now at our committee recommendations, item E1. I have a mover. Go ahead, Councillor Roy DiClemente.
Thank you. I would like to separate number 35 out for a separate vote since I didn't support it at the committee level. And then I did have a question about number 38, which is the water and wastewater budget. So if you want to separate those out.
Let's separate those out. First moved by Councillor Roy DiClemente, seconded by Councillor Carruthers.
So it's all but 35 and 38.
All but
Yep.
35 and 38. All in favor? That's carried. And now you want to speak on 35?
Number 35 was simply I wanted to be able to vote on it separately because I didn't support it at the committee level.
Okay.
I just want to be consistent.
Okay, so,
It was just to receive the deputation, and I didn't feel
Yes.
that deputation was
You
terribly
didn't-
respectful.
yes, so you didn't receive it, and you continue to not want to receive it. I understand that completely. So could I have a mover and a seconder for number 35, please? Councillor Persicini, Councillor Morton. All those in favor? Opposed? That's carried. Mr. Webster.
On that note, the deputant contacted me the next day and requested for a minute of my time. I thought it may be for an apology, Madam Mayor, but unfortunately, there was some discussions on his part that was threatening legal action, so I just bring that to solicitor's advisement and to council's advisement that he's indicated he will be taking further legal action.
Thank you very much. Okay, and number 38. Go ahead.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. I just, I wasn't sure that this is to approve in principle the water budget, but I wasn't sure if we were actually approving the water budget or whether staff, as I understood it, were intending to bring it back to us at our next meeting. And so through you to Mr. Valchich, perhaps he could comment on what the intent was with that resolution and where we'd be going with this.
Thank you.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Through you, the intent that day, I think, was more so around review, receipt, and for sort of a general sense from the Budget Committee of their recommendations to come forward to Council. I would recommend respectfully that you might modify or consider modifying these resolutions to perhaps just receive, have the motion to receive, and then perhaps the four sections that start with the word that, perhaps they be replaced with that staff be directed to prepare a report for the council meeting March 19th, 2019, with recommendations from the Budget Committee regarding the 2019 water and wastewater budget and related rates. Because I think what that would do is make it much clearer that you can expect a report from us at the next council meeting 2 weeks from now with the recommendations from the Budget Committee, and at that point you can make a decision, a final decision on that part of the budget.
It'll also give an opportunity for members of council, should they have any questions, to come back to staff to make sure that when the motions do come forward, they understand them. Councillor,
Happy to make that motion.
thank you very much. Do I have a seconder for that motion? Councillor Crothers, all those in favor?
I just had a comment.
Carrie? Oh, sorry, go ahead.
Sorry. I want to second that motion, but I also didn't want to lose the part that talks about staff be directed to introduce conservation measures to future water and wastewater budgets. So I just want to make sure that's not going to get lost, and if it's possible to keep that as part of the resolution.
Mr. Valchik?
Madam Mayor, you can certainly keep that as part of the resolution, and we will make sure at the staff end that that's absolutely not lost, for sure.
Thank you. Since we already voted, I'd like to move that recommendation then. That the best way to do it, since we voted on the first part?
Mhm.
Yeah. I'll move
What's that?
I hadn't voted yet.
You hadn't voted yet?
Okay.
No,
Oh.
I will call the
Okay.
vote.
Okay, thank you.
All those in favor? So go ahead.
What I would suggest, Madam Mayor, is that we also include the communications. I think that was also important to members of committee at the time, was that some communication around the budget. So maybe we'll leave those two there, and that can be incorporated in recommendations.
Very good. No, I just want to make sure before we have that.
So just for clarity, Madam Mayor, just to assist, so it's be received, then we leave the bottom two, Budget Committee introduce conservation measures, future budget, Budget Committee direct staff to communicate the distribution of water, wastewater budget to residents, and that Budget Committee directs staff to prepare a report with recommendations from the Budget Committee regarding 2019 water wastewater budget for the March 19th council meeting.
Okay? Okay. All those in favor? And that's carried. Okay. We have Mr. Lamanna?
Through you, Madam Mayor, we have one recommendation from committee today That is with respect, I'll put it on the screen for you. It's with respect to the lease of 19003 across the street, Leslie Street.
Okay. Could I have a mover and
I'll move that.
Councillor Persicini, seconder, Councillor Roy DiClemente. Any questions on the motion? All those in favor? Opposed? That's carried. Okay. Item F is the adoption of minutes.
I'll move it.
Councillor Crothers? You're moving it? Okay. Seconded by Councillor Foster, and that would include 1, 2, and 3. All those in favor? That's carried. Correspondence for consideration. The first item we have is correspondence from Blair McArthur, co-chair of the York Regional Police Dinner Appreciation Night. And we normally buy a table. I think there's only 2 a year that we buy. It's this one, and I think it's the LSRCA, but I may be wrong, but I think it's just this one. Okay, just this one. And so, do we have an interest in including that as part of the resolution? I'm seeing not. So with that, then, if anybody is interested in going, then to let our executive assistant know, and tickets can be purchased. I know it sells out, so if people are interested, then they should be making sure that they get their tickets early. It is May the 9th this year, and it's usually sold out about a month or more
Comments?
before. Yes, go ahead.
Just want to make a comment. I've been going there since I first began. Unfortunately, I'll be away on my holidays with a big birthday for my partner, and we'll be missing the first one. It's really great dinner, good food, good time, and good learning experience for those 2 people not aboard. I recommend that you sign up right away because it gets sold out, and it's really great. We're close to 1,000 people there. I think it was last time. Great event. I'll be sad to miss it, but it can't be 2 places at once. Thank you.
Thank you. So, do I have a mover and a seconder, please?
I did first, so
Councillor Foster and
I will.
Councillor Morton. All those in favor? And that's carried. Next item I have is correspondence from Amato. Oh, I'm not Italian. Come on, we've got Italian.
Where is it?
Gouch.
No, Amato,
Race route for,
Gauci,
okay,
Gauci.
for the Mount Albert 5K run. And it's being held on June the 1st, 8 to 10 a.m. And we will also need to approve a bylaw to prohibit through traffic at that time.
I'll move it.
Moved by Councillor Persicini, seconded by Councillor Crothers. All those in favor, and that's carried. And the next item I have is, excuse me, this has come back, I think this is the 3rd time. It's from the Ontario Cowboy Mounted Shooting Association, who are hosting a championship event at the Royal Canadian Riding Academy on Davis Drive. And I thought we were going to maybe get some more information about how large this is. Mr. Lamanna?
Through you, Madam Mayor, correct, it is the 3rd time it's back, and I did contact the organizer, and they anticipate approximately about $1,500 per day, or 1,500 people per day, obviously with Saturday and Sunday being a little higher. Friday's not as busy,
Yeah.
but that's what their general past attendees have been.
Okay. We do pride ourselves in being a rural community, and this is a rural business, so I know that some people, out of principle, don't support it, but it is a very lucrative
I'll move it, I'll
business.
support it.
And they do employ a lot of people in East Gwillimbury, so you have moved it.
It's supported.
Okay, Councillor Persicini, do I have a seconder? Councillor Foster? Pardon me? Yes, go ahead.
Thank you. As I've said
Fishing
before, I will not be supporting this because I don't believe in the use of firearms as a form of entertainment sends the right message to our children. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other comments? Go ahead.
Yeah, I'm quite happy to support this. It's an equestrian event. My daughter is English and Western style riding. This is, I've looked at the videos online, and it's, to me, I think it's, there's nothing offensive about it. I've even researched the operator, and I've seen no complaints about it, so I have no problems as a good country boy supporting it.
Thank you very much. Any other comments or questions? All those in favor? Opposed? That's carried. We have no reports at this time. We have resolutions, bylaws. The bylaws at this time, we have a mover and a seconder for the bylaws, please. Councillor Persuccini. Go ahead.
Sorry, Madam Mayor, there was, in relation to the CPRC lease of 19003, part of the recommendations talk about enactment of a bylaw. So that bylaw, we don't have it on the agenda, obviously, because we couldn't preclude council's approval. So in your motion with respect to the adoption of bylaws, if you want to add 2019 00, no, 9 is Manover, 0014 as that enactment bylaw, then we can proceed with it. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you very much. Do I have a mover? Councillor Persuccini, a seconder. Councillor Roy DiClemente. All those in favor? Opposed? That's carried. Okay. We are down to other business. And I only have one item on other business, and that's regarding the car show request to hold their cool country cruising car show for this coming season. It'll be running from May 11th to September the 7th. Any questions on that? Could I have a mover and a seconder, please? Moved by Councillor Morton, seconded by Councillor Foster. Any questions? All those in favor? That's carried. And I have no others. Confirming bylaw. Confirming bylaw, mover, Councillor Crothers, Councillor Foster. All those in favor? That's carried. And an adjournment at 3:24, moved by Councillor Crone, seconded by Councillor Roy DiClemente. All those in favor? And that's carried. Thank you very much.